Health Occupations Basic Entrance Test, HOBET. Question 1. A person who can be a universal blood donor has the blood type known as O+. True, false? The universal red blood cell donor has type O negative blood type. O positive can only be given to patients with positive blood types. Question 2. Solve the following equation, 3 asterisk, for superscript 2 plus 2, minus 4, 42, 46, 50, 764. First perform operations inside parentheses, for superscript 2 equals 16, then 16 plus 2 equals 18, multiply by 3 to get 54, finally, subtract 4 to get 50. Question 3. Find the value of x in the following equation, 3x equals x plus 8, 2, 4, 8, 10. Subtract x from both sides to get 2x equals 8. Divide by 2 to find x equals 4. Question 4. A person who is anemic is deficient in a key element that is also the primary component of blood. What element is this? Thulium, iron, tin, none of the above. Iron is a critical component of hemoglobin, the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. A deficiency in iron leads to anemia. Question 5. The two systems of the body that are responsible for removing waste are the digestive system and the circulatory system. True, false? The primary systems for removing waste are the excretory, urinary, system, respiratory system, and digestive system. The circulatory system transports waste but does not eliminate it from the body. Question 6. If a student writes an essay to demonstrate his or her knowledge of a particular topic, what form of writing is he or she engaging in? Narrative, research, expository, nonfiction. Expository writing serves to explain or clarify a topic to the reader, demonstrating knowledge about that subject. Question 7. One side of a right triangle is 4 inches long. The other side is 7 inches long. How long is the hypotenuse? 8.06 inches, 11 inches, 28 inches, 65 inches. Using the Pythagorean theorem, A superscript 2 plus B superscript 2 equals C superscript 2, 4 superscript 2 plus 7 superscript 2 equals 16 plus 49 equals 65. The square root of 65 is approximately 8.06. Question 8. Both plants and animals breathe, though one breathes carbon dioxide and the other oxygen. What is the name of this process? Circulation, perspiration, respiration, none of the above. Respiration is the biological process by which organisms exchange gases with their environment. Question 9. Neurons are responsible for transmitting signals throughout the body and for coordinating the body's actions. True, false? Neurons, or nerve cells, are the fundamental units of the brain and nervous system, responsible for receiving sensory input and sending motor commands. Question 10. A fishing boat travels at 20 mph on its way to the fishing grounds. It takes 2 hours to reach the grounds. On the way back, when the boat is loaded with fish, it can only travel at 15 miles per hour. How long will it take the boat to get home? 2 hours, 2.33 hours, 2.67 hours, 3 hours. The distance to the fishing grounds is 20 miles per hour * 2 hours equals 40 miles. The return trip takes 40 miles / 15 miles per hour equals 2.67 hours. Question 11. Sally is grocery shopping. She buys a gallon of milk for $5, a loaf of bread for $1.50, and a bag of shredded cheese for $3.50. Assuming that sales taxes in her city are equal to 10% of the purchase price, how much will Sally pay for her purchases? $10, $10.10, $10.50, $11. The total cost of the items before tax is $10. A 10% sales tax adds $1, making the final total $11. Question 12. Which of the following elements is generally not radioactive? Uranium, radium, silver, plutonium. Silver is a stable transition metal and is not naturally radioactive, unlike uranium, radium, and plutonium. Question 13. A fable is a historical story that contains a moral tale. True, false. A fable is a fictional narrative, often featuring anthropomorphized animals or forces of nature, used to illustrate a moral lesson. It is not historical. Question 14. Solve for y in the following equation when x is equal to 2, y equals 4x plus 4x 8, 10, 12, 14. Substitute x equals 2 into the equation y equals 4, 2, plus 4 to 2, which simplifies to 8 plus 4 to 2 equals 10. Question 15. Adult human males produce sperm cells, while adult human females produce eggs. In biology, these two types of cells are referred to by one term. What is it? Ovum, gamete, somatic cell, blastocyst. Gametes are an organism's reproductive cells. In humans, male gametes are sperm and female gametes are ova, eggs. Question 16. Use the information contained in the following passage to answer questions 16 to 18. Tom and Pete have been best friends since kindergarten. They both like football, motorcycles, and playing video games. They've argued before, mostly over girls, but never seriously. Tom recently turned 16 and got his license. His father bought him a car and the two boys went out for pizza to celebrate. On the way home, they had a bad car accident. Pete was seriously injured, but Tom was only bruised. It has been 3 days since the accident, and Tom has not yet spoken to Pete. What form of writing is this? Narrative, technical, fantasy, none of the above. The passage tells a story about characters, a setting, and events, which is the defining characteristic of narrative writing. Question 17. Given the circumstances, what is the most likely reason Tom has not spoken to Pete since the accident? Tom is embarrassed about the situation. Tom is feeling guilty about the accident. Tom is mad at Pete for causing the accident. Tom no longer wants to be friends with Pete. Since Tom was the one driving his new car and walked away mostly unhurt while his friend was seriously injured, guilt is the most natural psychological response. Question 18. What is the main idea inherent in this story? Tom is wrong to not call or visit Pete. Teenagers shouldn't be allowed to drive. These two boys are best friends who have been separated by a tragic accident. None of the above. The passage focuses on the long-standing friendship between the two boys and how the recent car crash has suddenly created a rift between them. Question 19. The predominant type of neurons found in the human brain are sensory neurons. True, false. The vast majority of neurons in the human brain and spinal cord are interneurons, which connect sensory and motor pathways. Question 20. Barbara and Tina are on a road trip. They drive for 2 hours at 40 miles per hour before stopping for lunch. After lunch, they get on the highway and drive for another 2 hours at 80 miles per hour before reaching their destination. What was their average speed for the trip? 40 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour, 75 miles per hour. The answer cannot be calculated using the given data. Total distance traveled is 240 miles, 80 miles plus 160 miles, over a total driving time of 4 hours. Dividing distance by time yields an average speed of 60 miles per hour. Question 21. Solve for y in the following equation when x is equal to 3, y equals 3x superscript 2 plus 5x plus 2, 26, 42, 44, 46. Substitute x equals 3 into the equation y equals 3, 9, plus 5, 3, plus 2, which gives 27 plus 15 plus 2 equals 44. Question 22. In a eukaryotic animal cell, what is the proper term for the area within the cell which houses the DNA? Cytoskeleton, Golgi apparatus, cell nucleus, vesicles. The cell nucleus is a membrane-bound organelle found in eukaryotic cells that contains the majority of the cell's genetic material, DNA. Question 23. Digestion is a form of anabolism. True, false? Digestion is a form of catabolism, which involves breaking down complex molecules into simpler ones to release energy. Anabolism is the building up of molecules. Question 24. Pick which of the following is the most important barrier the immune system uses to repel antigens. Skin, mucus, saliva, the stomach. The skin is the body's first line of defense and acts as the primary physical barrier against external pathogens and antigens. Question 25. Use the information contained in the following passage to answer questions 25 to 27. Patient 4532 may have had a negative reaction after being injected with the trial drug. He began throwing up a few hours after the injection and did not stop until the following day. He was also running a mild fever and had an erratic heartbeat. It is not known if these disparate elements are related. He had not been feeling well for a few days prior to the test, however, and it is unknown if his symptoms were a reaction to the drug or if he was ill. What conclusions can be drawn from this passage? Patient 4532 had a bad reaction to the trial drug. The trial drug should be pulled from testing because it is unsafe. No conclusion can be drawn until it is seen how other patients react to the drug. None of the above. The passage explicitly states that it is unknown if the symptoms were caused by the drug or a pre-existing illness, so none of the first three conclusions can be definitively drawn from the text provided. Question 26. What is the meaning of the word disparate in the passage? Similar, identical, different, disjointed. In this context, disparate refers to elements or symptoms that are markedly different or distinct from one another. Question 27. Where was this passage most likely drawn from? A journal article about drug trials, a professor's lecture, a lawsuit about a drug trial that ended horribly, a researcher's notes. The informal tracking of a specific patient by number, combined with tentative observations, is highly characteristic of a researcher's raw notes during a clinical trial. Question 28. Solve for z when x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4, z equals 3 asterisk x superscript 2 plus 2 asterisk y, 4 plus 3, minus 2, 36, 60, 66, 68. Substitute x equals 2 and y equals 4 into the equation, z equals 3, 4, plus 2, 4, 7, 2, which becomes 12 plus 56 to 2 equals 66. Question 29. What is the primary function of the respiratory system? To remove waste products from the blood, to oxygenate the body, to exchange gas between the body's lungs and the environment, to maintain homeostasis. The primary function of the respiratory system is to facilitate the exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide, between the organism and its environment.